In the early hours of May 29th, 1453, the fate of an empire was sealed. For more than 1,000 years, Constantinople had stood as the crown jewel of the Byzantine Empire. Its massive walls had resisted countless invasions. Armies had come and gone, kings had failed, empires had collapsed trying to conquer it. But this time was different. Outside the city stood the army of Sultan Mehmed II. Nearly 80,000 Ottoman soldiers surrounded Constantinople from land and sea. Giant cannons, larger than anything the world had ever seen, were aimed directly at the ancient walls. Inside the city, fewer than 10,000 defenders prepared for the final battle. The people of Constantinople knew the end was near. For weeks, the Ottoman cannons shook the earth day and night. Each explosion sent cracks through walls that had protected the city for centuries. Smoke filled the air, churches overflowed with frightened citizens praying for a miracle, but no miracle came. Emperor Constantine XI, the last ruler of the Byzantine Empire, refused to surrender. He walked through the streets of the dying city, speaking to soldiers and civilians alike. He knew the odds were impossible, yet he chose to stay and fight beside his people. As darkness fell on May 28th, a strange silence spread across the battlefield. The Ottoman cannons stopped firing. Both sides understood what was coming next. Inside Hagia Sophia, thousands gathered for one final prayer. Rich and poor, soldiers and civilians, all stood together beneath the great dome of the ancient cathedral. Some cried quietly, others prayed for salvation. Many believed they were witnessing the final hours of their civilization. Outside the walls, thousands of Ottoman soldiers prepared for the assault. Torches lit up the night like rivers of fire stretching across the horizon. Sultan Mehmed, only 21 years old, addressed his army before the attack. He promised them glory, wealth, victory, and before dawn, the assault began. Waves of Ottoman soldiers charged toward the walls of Constantinople. Arrows darkened the sky. Cannons thundered across the battlefield. The screams of soldiers echoed through the night. The defenders fought desperately. Greek soldiers, Venetian sailors, and Genoese mercenaries stood side by side atop the collapsing walls. They pushed ladders away, fired arrows into the crowds below, and battled hand-to-hand against endless waves of attackers. For hours, the city resisted, but the Ottomans kept coming, again and again. Then disaster struck. A small gate in the walls, known as the Porta, was reportedly left open during the chaos of battle. Ottoman soldiers rushed inside. At nearly the same moment, one of the city's greatest defenders, Giovanni Giustiniani, was severely wounded and carried away from the walls. Panic spread among the defenders. The Ottoman banners rose above the city walls. Constantinople was falling. Emperor Constantine removed his imperial robes before entering the final battle. According to legend, his last words were, "The city is fallen, and I am still alive." Then he disappeared into the fighting. His body was never positively identified. By sunrise, Ottoman forces had overwhelmed the city. After more than 11 centuries, the Byzantine Empire ceased to exist. The last remnant of the Roman Empire was gone forever. Ottoman soldiers flooded through the streets of Constantinople. Churches were looted. Bells fell silent. Thousands of civilians fled in terror through the ancient city. Then Sultan Mehmed entered Constantinople himself. He rode through the ruined streets toward Hagia Sophia. The great cathedral, once the symbol of Eastern Christianity, was transformed into a mosque, and Constantinople became the new capital of the Ottoman Empire. The fall of the city shocked all of Europe. For many historians, it marked the end of the Middle Ages, but it also changed the future of the world. As trade routes shifted and empires rose, European kingdoms began searching for new paths to Asia. Those journeys would eventually lead to the discovery of new continents and the beginning of a new age of exploration. One city had fallen, and the world would never be the same again. Even today, the story of Constantinople remains one of history's greatest last stands. a city that survived for over 1,000 years, finally defeated in a single night. And somewhere beneath the modern streets of Istanbul, the ghosts of the Byzantine Empire still remain.